Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Awaken the Possibilities. I'm your host, Terry Wildemann, and I love doing this podcast because I get to interview some amazingly brilliant people. And today's guest is one that you really want to listen to, especially if your health has been compromised. I'd like to introduce you to Cheryl Meyer. I personally invited Cheryl to come on because our stories resonate so much. And I really believe that she and I experienced what we had to experience to be able to bring this information to you from a place of experience and knowing. Cheryl Meyer did suffer, did have an autoimmune disease. Luckily, she took control and eliminated the toxins in her body and shifted into brilliant, vibrant health. Cheryl has a BA from UC Berkeley and is a health coach from IIN. She is also an award-winning author and international bestseller, health coach, speaker, local TV host, and guest podcaster. Her book, It Feels Good to Feel Good. Learn to eliminate toxins, reduce inflammation, and feel great again, has won 13 awards. It is available on Amazon. And she is currently writing her second book, Feeling Good, Living Low Toxin in Community and Everyday Life. Cheryl also just published a victory log and gratitude journal to celebrate her health achievements. Her ideal client are those with chronic illness, and she offers them hope and helps them to discover and find solutions so that they too can step into magnificent and vibrant health. Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having me, Terry. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm really excited that you're here because your story is one that I hear over and over again, and people are scared. People get, they don't feel listened to. I was one of them, and I know that you were one of them. And that's why I asked you to come on the show so that you can share your story of how you were able to shift from illness, ILL meaning I, to wellness, which is WE, we, and you helping other people. So can you tell me about how all of it started for you?
Well, my body had been telling me it wasn't feeling very good for a long time, and I just wasn't paying attention. I had my own business. I was designing jewelry that I was manufacturing in China and selling to big box customers. And so I was working 24/7, and things would flick past my eyes, and I just didn't slow down to ask why they were happening to my body. Little things like my deodorant either made me blister or rash.
Ooh.
Or my mascara was making my eyes water or itchy as heck. I'd get rashes suddenly up one side of my body, and they would drive me crazy, but I didn't know what caused it, so I just kept going. I just kept ignoring that this was all happening. And then one morning I woke up and my tongue and my lips were swollen and my eyes were swollen shut. And we looked back, and I had company who had done the laundry and used fabric softener, which I had stopped using years before because I recognized that it was creating some reaction that wasn't good. But it like really hit my body. And you would think that would have gotten me to stop and pay attention.
You're stubborn.
I tell you, the universe came down and hit me with a 2x4. I woke up about 3 weeks later and I could not get out of bed. Everything,
wow.
Every muscle, every joint, everything in my body hurt. So obviously I had to pay attention. I heard my body. So I went to the doctor and she ran tests. And I went again and she ran more. And finally she called me and said there was absolutely nothing wrong with me and that I should seek therapy. Anyway, I got news. Something's wrong. I do know my body well enough to know this is not normal. But I was lucky. I had a staff that had been with me a long time. So I turned the business over to them and I dug in. And I tripped into what's called the functional medical community. And I watched 20 different symposiums by functional doctors who had all gone on for additional education because they got sick and couldn't help themselves.
Lots of doctors have to get sick before they listen to.
I know,
What's
isn't
up with
that sad? But
What's
they
up
kept
with
coming
that?
back to, I probably had something called leaky gut, never heard the term.
Yeah.
I probably had too many toxins in my life. I probably had too much stress in my life, and I knew I had a lot of stress. I thought that it was making me get more done. Well, guess what? The tiger almost caught and ate me. So I decided there were some things I could do on my own, doctor or no doctor, and I was going to go after them very systematically until I could turn my health around. So I found a website called EWG, the Environmental Working Group. They're famous because they put out the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 list every year, which a lot of people are familiar with. The Dirty Dozen are the vegetables and fruits you only buy organic because they could have 90 toxins on them. The Clean 15, it doesn't matter. You can
What
buy
is that website
anything.
again? Can you repeat that, please?
EWG, like elephant, work, goat. EWG. They have a database with hundreds of thousands of items that you can look up and get a toxicity reading. So it ended up, everything in my life was toxic. I was appalled. The makeup I was using was very expensive French makeup. It was a 9 on a 10-point scale. Your skin is your biggest organ.
Yes,
so that was all going directly into my blood. So I, item by item, started eliminating things and finding lower toxin replacement.
So for the women in our audience, what makeup are you using now?
Right now, I am, what is it called that I'm using? I started off using something called Well People, which is a 2 on the EWG scale. Remember the name of the new makeup that I'm using, but I love it. I can post it under where you post this.
You will do women a big service.
Well, and one of the reasons I wrote the book is because it took me 5 years to do this. And I wanted to give everybody a running start. So I literally talk about how did I research, what did I find, and what did I replace it with? Because I went through a lot of products that I didn't like. And so I wanted to give people, now my product may not be the product that's best for you, but at least it gives you a chance to start with something that somebody else has found very helpful.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, hey, you know, because I've always been, I always go back to what I use. And I know all of my skincare products are handmade for me. The skincare products.
Right.
Are handmade. Because of all the reactions and things that I have. But makeup, well, geez.
Yeah, and really, makeup is not controlled at all. That was the other thing I was discovering as I was researching these products. They're allowed to self-regulate. And so they're not worried about my health or your health. They're worried about their profits. So they're self-regulating them right into poisons that are going into your body. But that's true about almost every category.
That's really good to know. Thank you. On behalf of all the women in the world, thank you very much. I appreciate you. So I'm looking forward to getting that.
But you can actually find your whole product in EWG in most cases. And if your product isn't in there, you can look it up ingredient by ingredient. It is tedious. It is not necessarily the most user-friendly place to research, but it's all there. And so you can find it all. And so I didn't even really understand the difference between organic, conventionally grown, and genetically modified. Even though it was on the ballot here in California, I didn't understand genetically modified.
And if you didn't understand it, how many other people don't get it?
Yeah, well, and there was so much misinformation that was put out when it was on our ballot. What they said wasn't true, but what did I know? So I want to tell you quickly what genetically modified is, because it's only one of two things. they're either putting something called Bt toxin right into the plant. So when the bug eats it, it blows up his little stomach. Unfortunately, that's why our bees are disappearing and our butterflies. And if we have no pollinators, we have no food, but it also gets into our gut and blows up our gut bacteria. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. Bt toxin replicates in our guts. Then
Wow.
the other kind of genetically modified means that it has been made Roundup ready. And if you've been following the news,
Oh,
life
yeah.
is
And of course, I just lost you. You have frozen, my dear friend. Come back to
state has
me.
just
There you go.
unstable. There
No,
I
you
am.
froze
Okay.
for a little bit.
Sorry about that.
No, that's not your fault. No reason to apologize. So we're going to cut here. Where am I? It's 153. Okay. At 153. Okay. So you're talking about the bees and the butterflies. So can you start at that
Okay.
again?
And then the other kind of genetically modified food is Roundup ready. Roundup is glyphosate that just lost 3 major lawsuits because Monsanto has known for 20 years that it caused cancer.
And didn't
And
Bayer buy them?
Bayer bought them after they lost the first lawsuit. He just lost his job.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. I read that. Yeah.
As he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Kennedy Jr. got in there and actually got in discovery all their records from 20 years ago that they've always known this stuff is causing cancer, but it's still being sprayed on our food. It's being sprayed on our schoolyards. It's spraying on our golf courses and public lands. I even caught my gardener spraying my yard with it one day. And I ran out and said, no more. This is unhealthy for you and for me. So the government is still supporting that it should be sprayed. They just came out that there's no reason to believe it's not healthy for us. But we can vote with our dollars and stop buying this stuff.
Holy smokes. Well, now the world understands why you became a health coach,
Yep.
because you are really good at sharing with what is unhealthy in our life. So you went, I think you are the epitome of wonderful, you're just in a wonderful example of people who, and forgive me for using this word, but I really want to use this word, who are of retirement age and they do retire and think that their life is over.
I
No,
know.
you reinvented yourself at 67.
Yeah, I
You
did.
reinvented yourself. So go, girl. I am so happy that you did that
And I
because,
am loving doing this
you
because
know,
I have met so many people in the same situation that I was. I started even meeting them at the grocery store. I was meeting them everywhere. And they were all just as frustrated as I was because their
yeah,
conventional doctor wanted to throw pills at them. They did
yes.
not know how to tell them to own their own health and make lifestyle changes that would turn everything around and take them back to health.
And what's so wonderful about you, Cheryl, is that you are an example of what can happen. I'm an example of what can happen.
Right.
I was very sick I was sick late or earlier in my life, my 20s and 30s and 40s actually, and until I started studying holistic health and energy medicine and energy psychology. It wasn't until I did that that I was able to heal my body. And I truly believe that people like us are meant to be ill in our earlier years so that we who are take charge people, we're not sheeples in any way, shape, or form. We take charge of our health. We took charge of our health and we gained the health that we wanted our entire lives and now are in a position to be able to share with the world how to take back their lives.
Right. I feel
Because
better than I did in my 50s.
oh, I feel better than I did in my 20s. You know, I was a sick teenager, sick in my 20s, sick in my 30s, sick in my 40s. It was the healing started in my 40s. Then I got better in my 50s. And people would say to me, "Why are you so excited for your birthday?" Because every single year I get healthier and healthier and healthier and healthier.
Right.
I feel better and better in mind, body, and spirit. You know, my mom says to me, it's really funny because I have gained a lot of weight as in my older years, and my mom says, "Well, people remember you being so skinny," and I was a tiny, mini skinny person. And I say to her, I said, "Mom, I may have been super skinny then. However, I was totally unhealthy in mind, body, and spirit. I would much rather have the body size that I am now, and I'm a size 14. I would much rather be a size 14 and healthy in mind, body, and spirit than a size 6 or a size 8 that I was, and so unhealthy and sick all."
Right. Yeah. Body weight and health are not necessarily correlated.
Exactly. And, I'm proud of what I've become. You just glow with pride in what you've accomplished. And as well, you should.
Thank you.
As
Thank
well,
you.
you should. So, one of the things that I know is you have an amazing drive to help people.
I do.
What is at the core of that drive?
I just, well, I married a man 5 years ago who I met online because I wanted someone to go on a get well journey with me. And so he is my perfect partner. He supports me in every way. He edits my books. I call him my chief of punctuation and grammar. He went through parochial school, so he's unbelievable at that stuff. He was a statistician.
Wow.
I'm doing little television shows with my local community TV station, and then he's producing the shows, and they're going up on YouTube and on their channel, which is only for my immediate local area. But these are sort of things we're doing together, and we're on our own paths for our own health, but they're parallel. And so we're supporting each other as we do it, and we are helping each other grow and learn every day so that we can go out into the community and help other people learn and discover what we're learning that they can do for their own health. And I really want to touch as many people as I can because I refuse to live a life of pain and pills. And I want them to refuse it too. As a boomer, people seem to think that that's the way it's going to be. And it doesn't have to be that way
You're
at all.
absolutely right. You're
So,
absolutely right. And, you know, I have had to hold accountable loved ones in my world who are in the same age group that I am because they're under the assumption that because they are in their 60 their sixth decade of living that their bodies are meant to be falling apart. And I'm like, you know what? That's all mindset and attitude. That's complete BS. Your body is meant to live for a long time. That is on you if your body is falling apart because there are things that you can do to get and stay healthy. And I really do believe that emotionally we set the stage for a lot of the stuff that's going on.
we do.
And it complements what it is that you're talking about. So it's about going at it with a multiple prong approach, getting rid of the toxins like you're talking about, and also looking at the emotional baggage that we carry that comes in from past lives and our childhood.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that, your thoughts on that multi-prong approach.
I don't doubt it. I was unusual amongst the people in my life that I had two really terrific parents. And so I was brought up that I could do anything I set my mind to do.
That's so cool.
And I had no idea what a gift that was when I was a child. But both my parents had unusual diseases. I did a lot of research on both of them so that I could help them. I lost my father in my early 20s, so I didn't get to help him as much, but I got to help my mother a lot because to this day, they don't really understand what she had. But I knew as much as they did, so that it was a robust conversation every time we went to the doctor. And I believe that you need to own your own life and that you can do anything you set your mind to.
Yes.
And it's made all the difference in the world in my life.
So when you say autoimmune disease, autoimmune covers a lot of different diseases. So, what are the kinds of autoimmune diseases that you have worked with so far?
Believe it or not, in the functional community, which is what I believe in because they're the ones who gave me the road back to health, there are now 140 different names of autoimmune diseases, and they're all under one umbrella. The approach is the same in the beginning, no matter what it is. People want to know what the name is, and it doesn't really matter unless you've gotten so complicated that you're now to lupus or MS or something that needs a different approach because it becomes more complicated. I have undefined autoimmune disease, and I joke that I'm like a Chinese menu. I have a little bit from column A, and a little bit from column B, and a little bit from column C, but all together I have all the markers of inflammation. And what it does when you have inflammation is there's a part in your body that's weaker than others, and that's where autoimmune disease attacks. For me, it was my joints and my muscles. For someone else, maybe it's going to be their skin and it's going to be eczema or psoriasis. Maybe it's going to be the thyroid and it's going to be Hashimoto's or Graves', or it's going to be your lower intestine and be IBS. But it all starts with the same place in functional medicine. You have to heal what's called your leaky gut. Remember I told you I kept coming across this term, leaky gut. What the heck was leaky gut?
Everything starts from the gut.
And it does. It all starts.
Does.
Your gut wall is only one cell thick. So if you're not digesting your food properly, and a lot of things cause that to happen, stress causes that to happen, sugar causes that to happen, toxins cause that to happen, parasites cause that to happen, candida causes that to happen. Then you don't digest your food down to a point that when it passes through the wall, your blood is going to identify it, know what it is, and take it off to go be nutritious somewhere in your body. Instead, it starts ramming against the wall of your gut until it pokes a hole. And when it pokes a hole, things start to go into your blood that are the wrong size, and your body does exactly what it's been designed to do. It screams foreigner, attack, because it can't identify what that thing is. And that's what autoimmune disease is. It's when your system goes into hyper mode because it doesn't know what this foreign stuff is that's leaking into your blood. So you start with any autoimmune disease, and believe it or not, for cancer or heart disease, you start by healing your gut wall. Because until you heal your gut, there's something called multiple autoimmune syndrome. You start to collect more than one. My first one was diabetes. I didn't know that was an autoimmune disease. But then I went into my undefined autoimmune disease, which is when I paid attention because everything hurt. But by healing my gut, then I started to allow my body to come to a place where it could heal.
Nice.
And the best way to do that is by eating whole foods that don't have toxins sprayed all over them. There are toxins everywhere, but you have to start with what you feed your body, because by giving it the right building blocks, it can start to rebuild cells. And if you're giving it junk and you're giving it processed food and you're giving it fast food, you're giving your body nothing it can identify to work with. So it
Food
starts
is
with
medicine.
real food. Food is medicine.
Food is medicine.
But it's inconvenient. We've gotten so that we would rather be convenient than cook. And so getting my clients to cook is enormous.
And so, thank you. So, Cheryl, God, I haven't sneezed in, what was it? I got triggered there for some reason. Okay, God only knows what triggered me. Cheryl, one of the things that a lot of people are talking about right now, which is, I'm not going to say it's a fad, is the gluten frenzy. Now, I was diagnosed with a wheat allergy 30, almost 29 years ago. And the people who I worked with were the first on the market with probiotics. And that was very cool. However, the dietitian who helped to create the probiotic, she kept saying I could have rye, I could have this, but it was still bothering me. And I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, gluten is interesting because they've now discovered it's not even just grains. There is cross sensitivity with beans and with
Yep.
all kinds of other
Yes.
foods, and
Exactly.
they're in the capsule that covers your supplements.
Yeah. But
They're
a lot
in
of people in
everywhere.
restaurants don't get that. So
No,
when
I
I
know.
go to a restaurant, the waiter or waitress may say to me, or the server will say to me, I say, do you have a gluten-free menu? Oh, is this an allergy or is this just, dietary? I'm like, trust me, it is and I don't even say it's an allergy anymore. It's a sensitivity. It used to be an allergy. I've
Right.
now gotten it down to a sensitivity. So frankly, so many people do have this gluten resistance. And what I've learned is I just stay away from grains, period. I have to stay away from grains. And I've got people in my world who are like, we have to eat grains. No, I don't.
No, you don't
No,
have to eat
I
grains.
do not have to eat grains. Well, what are you going to do for your carbohydrates? Well, there's carbohydrates in just about everything.
Vegetables, regular vegetables have plenty of not simple carbohydrates. They have
Right.
complex carbohydrates,
Complex carbohydrates,
which are better for
exactly.
your body anyway.
And I have to stay away. I'm learning I have to stay away from corn. It's like, oh God.
That's another cross sensitivity with gluten.
Yep, that just went away.
But it's also mostly genetically modified. And so we
Uh-huh.
want to stay away from it anyway.
And wheat is also. So, over the last 29 years, I have seen one food group after another, after another, after another have to go on the back burner for me. And, eating becomes, I eat to live, not live to eat.
I actually made a business card where I list the things that I don't want to eat when I go out, because it got too confusing to remember them all. So my picture is on the top of it. So if he goes to the kitchen and he comes back, he remembers who the crazy woman was who gave it to him in the first place.
What a great idea.
I send him to the chef. I probably have talked to the chef before I walked into the restaurant in the first place, so that I know they can feed me, because I'm not so easy to feed. And then he comes back and tells me what the chef is going to make me, because he knows what to avoid for me. And it has worked. And restaurants constantly are asking me if they can keep my card because they love it so much. They wish that everybody would do that.
How cool is that? I love that idea. What a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Well, what a great place to end the show today. Get yourself a business card and list all the things that you're sensitive to.
And some of them are things I just want to avoid. I have canola oil on there because it's in everything, but canola is not good for you, whether it's organic or it's not. So it's on my list.
So there you go. So that is a brilliant idea, Cheryl. Thank you so very, very much. And what I'd like for you to do now is tell the world, how can they get in touch with Cheryl?
Okay, you can go to my website, which is Cheryl with a C, CHERYLM, like Meyer, Mary, Health, HEALTH, Muse, MUSE.com, because I want to inspire you to a healthier life. So that's how you can remember the Muse part. And it is a very robust website. There is a ton of free information there for you, because my whole goal is to share what I've learned with the world. So go noodle around, because you're going to learn a lot that will be very useful for you and your families. And I'm really concerned about our kids, because 53% of them have chronic illness. So if you're a mom, go see what I've got there, because it can help you a lot to raise a healthy family. And you can buy my book there. My second book will be going up there in about a month. And that's about, my first book is about what I found toxic in my home. My second book is fine. I live with other people in the world. How do I go out and not give up my community? How do I go to other people's house for dinner? How do we go to restaurants? How did we go to Europe? How did I get to eat food that wasn't going to make me sick? So all of the things that I've learned are in my second book in terms of how to live my real life.
Excellent. Thank you so very, very much, Cheryl. This was an absolute joy.
Thank you. It was fun to talk to you.
Well, it's just wonderful to hear your message and how it is that you're helping everyone. So to the Awaken the Possibilities audience, thank you so much for being here. I'm sure you learned a lot today, at least one thing, maybe two, maybe three. So
thank you for having me.
It was a
thrilled
joy
to be here.
So Awaken the Possibilities, people. Hey, We will see you next time. This is Terry Wildemann wishing you farewell. And oh, by the way, I would love to have you join my Facebook group, Awaken the Possibilities also. So go to facebook.com/groups/Awaken the Possibilities and join us. We have a team called the Heal Network that is helping right now with everything that's going on with these viruses and all this stuff. Every day we're doing something a little bit different. I have 7 Heal Network members that are sharing their insights. We're having discussions. We're talking about all the different ways that we can be really healthy in mind, body, and spirit during these challenging times. So join us there at Awaken the Possibilities, and awakenthepossibilities.com takes you right to the podcast. So you take good care of yourself. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye-bye.